this video, i-level ko lang ngayon pa lang na best consumed while doing something else. So, kung ikaw ay gumagawa ng mga gawaing bahay, pwede mo siya pakinggan like a podcast because I won't be putting a lot of visuals para sa video na to because I'm trying this kind of content. Actually, ang gusto ko nga maging direction ng channel is parang speaking video lang, sharing what I know, and kung kaya na i-share yung mga alam ko kahit na hindi ako gumagawa ng visuals better. Kasi what I just wanted to do is to explain the things that I know and things that I observe. Kasi aside from the business itself, which is about insurance, I do have this hobby to consume knowledge before sa books. But now, whenever nag sa treadmill o may ginagawa ako, nagda-drive, nakikinig ako ng podcast. But hindi lang siya about finances. It's about philosophy, music, art, history, and etc. Tapos, isa pa sa mga guilty pleasures ko is to watch animes, dramas. So, there are plenty of things kung saan parang diverse yung kinukuhaan ko ng knowledge. Kasi I always challenge myself to parang create a journal of learning. And naisip ko na gusto ko siyang gawing series. So more or less gagawin ko siyang playlist here sa YouTube ko. And sisimulan ko ngayon, itong first episode. Kaso nga lang, ayoko naman na yung unang-una kong episode is not about money, kahit na plano ko in the future na not everything is about money na. Kaya ang napili ko libro is from Morgan Housel, which is Psychology of Money, para may maayos tayong transition. Okay, so now na na-move out of the way na siya, I'll begin. Ito yung parang proof ko. Parang ang ginagawa ko, kunyari, book yung binasa ko. Gumagawa ko ng summary per chapter or basta chapter or two. Tapos kung may nakuha akong good lesson, sinusulat ko siya kasi parang nandun yung habit ko na pag nag-absorb ako ng knowledge, nag-consume ako, tinatry ko siyang i-write on my own. Gumagamit ako ng mga simpleng analogy or simple stories about my life that I could relate para mas ma-explain ko siya. At bilang professor for more than a decade, talagang naniniwala ako na yung mastery of knowledge is when you teach it to others. Now that I'm not related to university anymore, ito yung ginagamit kong parang channel, avenue ko to do that. So, if ever man you're interested sa pag-digest ng knowledge through listening, tapos merong mga ilang books na intimidating sa inyo, sige, suggest nyo sa akin sa baba. Mahilig ako magbasa. So, babasahin ko yon or manonood ako ng video related to that or makikinig ako ng audiobook or podcast about that. Tapos, try kong i-summarize yun and then I'm going to share it to you. Okay? So, let's move on. Now, yung Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, nabalitaan ko talaga yon na about money siya, tapos ano yung behavior ng mga tao, ano yung parang mga attitude nila pagdating sa paghahandle ng pera at paano nila navigate ng pera yung buhay nila. So, dun pa lang sa pre-context na yon, I was really interested because years ago ko ito nabasa nung nasa performative mail era pa ako sa nagbabasa ako sa iPad, nasa coffee shop. Kasi yun yung ginagawa ko habang umiinom ng kape. Pero no, kasi hindi na ganun yung pag-consume ko ng knowledge Masyado ng busy. So, pag nag-drive na lang ako, kaya nagka-treadmill din nga yung nasabi ko kanina. Ngayon, nalaman ko yung story ni Morgan Housel that he was a doctor. According sa book Tapos, parehas kami ng ibig sabihin ng parang attitude namin pagdating sa money. And about yun sa practice of freedom, yung independence mo. According sa story niya, he was a doctor, but he was saving because he wanted to get out of his job. Not because hindi niya mahaling trabaho niya, but he believes that there's plenty more to life maliban sa pagtatrabaho. So gusto niya i-spend yung rest of his life para mabigay yung attention niya and time niya sa mga mahal niya sa buhay. So that decision, iniwan niya yung kanyang very prestigious job and gawin ang gusto niyang gawin. It's very inspiring to me. Ang background ko, I'm also like that. Hindi kasing yaman siguro ngayon Morgan Housel, but I'm trying to be. Pero I'm a certified public accountant. Kagaya nga na nabanggit ko, I'm practicing my profession sa academe. So, ibig sabihin, nagturo ako and I once reached the position of a dean for College of Business Administration and Accountancy. And then I transitioned into an insurance agent, which is marami talaga sa pamilya ko and friends ko question kung ano man yung naging choices ko in life. It's because I already had the stability. But since I was young kasi, I would like to challenge myself. Parang on the side, while teaching, nagtayo ako ng mga negosyo, is because I would like to test kung kaya kong magbuo ng something that will last me a lifetime. Parang yun yung naging mindset ko ever since. And now, binitawan ko lahat. I'm in the insurance field. It's fine. I'm saying na challenge pa rin yung buhay ko. Pero, I learned a lot along the way. Gusto ko kasi yung freedom na kailangan ko maging creative sa job in order for me to reach success. Kasi, if I remember kung ano man, kung meron akong naaalala nung college ako, sobrang binavalue ko yung natutunan ko sa isang professor ko sa philosophy na gasgas na malamang ngayon. Pero amazed na amazed ako nung narinig ko yun. Yung parang journey is more important than the destination. And I really value that saying. Kasi along the journey, pagka natutunan mo yung i-enjoy, it seems like time flies na hindi mo nararamdaman na exhausted ka. So, in my case, I would like to challenge palagi yung sarili ko. Kaya siguro yun yung mga naging decisions ko in life. Okay, so sobrang haba ng introduction. Let's talk about psychology of money. Okay, so my plan on how to discuss this is like yung lesson na nakuha ko and then I'm going to tell stories about it. Okay, if you have your own stories, please comment down below and I'm going to respond to everyone. Hindi naman ako siguro sisikat ng gusto. I mean, the aim of the channel is to become a boring video. So, ang gusto ko lang mangyari sa channel ko, mahanap niya yung right people. So, I know na baka hindi naman kayo siguro dumami ng gusto, di ba? So, I'll be reading a lot of your comments, suggestions. Tapos, share din kayo ng stories. I would like to build a community from this channel. Okay, for number one, people made decisions not based on facts, but rather feelings, experiences, and personal reality. If ever you wondered, in life, pagka tinignan mo yung lahat ng mga pinurchase mo, think back kung bakit mo siya binili. I bet marami kayong items dyan na kaya nyong i-justify bakit nyo siya binili. Whether the reason is very valuable or very stupid, you have somehow parang justification kung bakit nyo siya binili. Yun yung ibig sabihin nila na ang tao, hindi siya talaga laging in accordance sa kung ano yung dapat, but kung ano yung nafe-feel niya. And mapapansin nyo yan, lalo na sa younger generation, na binavalue talaga ng mga tao kung ano yung mahalaga sa kanila. Pwedeng yung mahalaga sa kanila ngayon might not be valuable in the future, but it doesn't really matter. Basta ginawa nila yun, yung satisfaction nila. 'Di ba? Yung pagiging deserve nila sa mga bagay na yun. And I agree with that. Nung nagsisimula ako sa insurance industry, di ba nagbebenta kami ng insurances. So, ang pakiramdam ko, kami yung considered expert pagdating sa bagay na to. About personal finance kami. So, kumbaga, finance yung background namin. Pero ang trabaho namin is kumausap ng normal individuals, propose kung paano ba dapat i-handle yung pera. So, yung training na natanggap namin is all about those. So, yung confidence namin pagdating sa personal money handling, mataas. Kasi yun yung inaral namin eh. So, whenever mag-set ako ng appointment, talagang part of the script, yes, nag-abisado ako ng script nung ano, kasi wala naman akong background sa sales eh. Kaya, kung ano lang tinuro ng company, yun lang din yung mga sinasabi ko. And part of the script is about telling what you know. Kung ano yung importance ng insurance, bakit mo siya kailangan, ano yung pinakamaganda sa'yo, ganito ka dapat mag-save, etc. And then, I learned from experience na hindi yun yung preliminary dapat na ginagawa ko. Kasi kahit anong ganda ng knowledge, nilatag mo siya ng sobrang madali maintindihan, very sensible naman lahat ng advice mo, pwedeng at the end, hindi pa rin maniwala yung tao na yun at hindi mo maging kliyente. Kasi nga, hindi mo naman na-touch yung emotion niya. So, kailangan, pag nakikinig ka sa isang tao, diin, pag nakikipag-meet ako, yun yung tinatry kong i-change. Kapag makikinig ako sa isang tao, whenever we do have an appointment, it is more important na sila yung mas nagsasalita kaysa sa akin. kailangan hinahanap ko kung ano yung mahalaga sa kanila. Ano yung mga emotion na nai-evoke whenever may nai-open na story. So one example is, kagaya ng sinabi ko, since nasa insurance field ako, nagbebenta talaga kami ng mga things na hindi tangible. It is just an idea that they need to buy in order for them to have the insurance. For example, we talk about deaths, we talk about hospitalization, so more on the negative side siya. And if you are talking to a person who is young and healthy, hindi masyadong importante sa kanila yon. So one conversation sa client ko talks about how that person love his family. So, ang tawag sa sales nun is the pain point of that person. Whenever pinag-uusapan yung family, since he is the provider, kahit anak siya, sobrang laking impact sa kanya pag yun yung decision-making process. Ayun yung pag yun yung decision na pinag-iisipan niya. So, pag nasa sales ka, tinuturo yan na to exploit kung ano man yung pain point niya, which is yung kahalagahan ng family. So, this person, napakuha ko siya ng insurance because the conversation went sa pagpapa-imagine sa kanya on what will happen to his family kung siya ay nagkasakit, kung siya ay nawala. Okay? Kinda insensitive more or less sa maraming tao na gano'n, but it is psychology of money. Lahat ng nakikita nyo, for example, sa mga TikTok shop, ganyan, yung mga nag-yellow basket, meron silang kinikwentong story that will let you realize na kailangan mo rin siya. Tapos, pag na-touch or nakarelate ka sa story na yon, you will feel like kailangan mo siya. Okay, I don't want you to come after financial advisor na parang na-exploit kayo, na in bad taste lahat yon. But that's how it works. Because, in psychology of money, hindi naman nagde-decide yung tao dahil maganda yung product mo lang. Nagde-decide sila kasi may nai-evoke na emotion sa kanila. So, yung mga personal stories nila, nagmamatter lahat yon. And maybe that's the reason there are some people na kahit anong paliwanag yung gawin ko, kung gaano kaganda ang pag-handle dapat ng finance mo, ganito, personal financial planning mo, inaalaga mo dapat, budgeting, ginagawa mo dapat, hindi pa rin nila gagawin yon kung wala man lang akong kahit anong story na relatable sa kanila, kung hindi naman pala importante sa kanila yon. Tsaka may mga tao talaga na may mga stories silang sinasabi sa sarili nila. Yun lang yung pinaniniwalaan nila. If ang story nila sa sarili nila is insurance ay hindi makakatulong ever, scam lang yan. Ang mangyayari talaga sa kanila is hindi mo sila mako-convince kahit gaano kaganda yung premises ng mga binibigay mo na ideas. So, in order for you to touch those people, alamin mo kung ano yung story niya. So, ang best lesson na naituro talaga sa akin ito is to start really conversing with the person. Alamin mo kung ano yung mahalaga sa kanya and not to showcase kung ano yung lahat ng alam ko. Because there are plenty of people who are not interested sa gusto kong sabihin. But mas gusto nilang pakinggan sila. Okay? Number 2. Luck and risk plays a big role on your money. Ito. Um, First-hand experience. Kasi pag sinabi na luck, swerte. Yung risk, ano ba Tagalog ng risk? Basta risk. Hindi ko maalala kung ano yung Tagalog. Pero kahit ang dalawang tao may similar background, similar upbringing, similar knowledge, similar trainings, lahat parehas, how come na hindi sila parehas ng nililive na buhay ngayon? Bakit yung iba mas yumayaman, bakit yung iba mas maganda yung buhay? It's because yung luck, it plays an important role. Yung risk also. Let's just say ganito, kambal. So, almost everything parehas sa school, parehas sa pinasok ng trabaho, etc. And then, nagkataon na yung set of friends ng isang kambal are good network. Tapos, yung isa naman, hindi masyado. And then, they presented the business to their set of friends. Iba talaga yung kahinat na ng isa kasi mas maganda, mas na-bless siya ng good network. Right? Tapos, pwedeng parehas sila lahat, pero isa na aksidente. So, with all the similarities, yung isa naging successful, yung isa naratay sa bed. So, yun naman yung risk. So, parang ang sinasabi lang ni Morgan dito, na ang luck tsaka risk, factor yan. Factor yan para ma-determine kung ano yung kahinat namin sa buhay. So, parang nothing is really set on stone. So, talagang yun yung struggle ng life. Yun yung beauty ng life din as well. And also, ang lesson kasi niyan sa akin is, pag ina-observe ko yung mga kasamahan ko sa trabaho, na pare-parehas naman kami ng mga training, parehas naman kami ng ginagawa. Pero bakit magkakaiba kami? Pwedeng parehas kami ng level of network, pero nagkataon na nag-present ako or nag-present siya na nataon na ang kanyang network ay financially struggling. So, hindi niya na-close. Diba? And also, one lesson pa na natutunan ko is, success is a lousy teacher. So, kung ikaw yung tipo ng tao na lagi nagsasucceed in life, you believe na everything that you do is correct. Tapos hindi mo consider na minsan maswerte ka pala. And for those who are religious, they call it blessed. Kaya I don't discredit people din na yung nasa mababa silang lugar ngayon. Kasi pwedeng nag-play talaga ng important role sa kanila yung risk and luck eh. Lahat ng mga tao na yun, ginawa na naman ang best nila. Pero kung hindi talaga nag-work, something happened. Lalo na kung parehas naman ang set of skills. But those people who keeps on trying despite all the failures, there is a valuable lesson there na hindi natututunan ng taong laging successful. Okay? So, number 3 is how to define what is enough. Enough is a big word. I am recording this while the Philippines is in the middle of a crisis about flood control. I keep on thinking, why is it that there are some people who are really greedy, like stealing millions, billions of pesos from kaban ng bayan. And hindi ko masyadong maintindihan yung concept nila. Aside sa, I could label it as greed. Kasi ang definition sa akin ng greed, sa pagkakaintindi ko, you are getting something to the point na kahit you must be satisfied, you're still getting it. And to the point na there are some people na na-harm because you're getting what is supposed to be for them. So there are a lot of greedy people and it's not close to politics. Sa mga, wala akong pinipinpoint. Under investigation pa rin karamihan ng mga suspects. So, hindi pa ako magsabi kung sino yung tao na tinutukoy ko kung sino yung corrupt. Pero kasi billions of pesos, pag nakita mo yung scale ng billion, kunyari, yung 100,000 sa 1,000,000, 10 peraso lang yun eh. Pero if you are going to put 100,000 to a billion, sobrang laki ng scale nun. And naisip ko, ano kaya yung bibili ng mga tao na yun? Parang pre-preserve na yung mga susunod mong generation eh, with that kind of money. But you keep on stealing. So, maraming tao, yun ang cause ng downfall nila. They don't know what is enough. So, ang lesson ko dito is to determine, magkaroon ako ng initiative for myself. What is enough? What is my real target? Pwedeng magbago yon from time to time. Pero, whenever nare-reach mo ang isang goal, kung ano yung una mong define na enough, you have to have an internal reflection again to determine your next goal. Kasi pag hindi ka nagkakaroon ng internal dialogue, you feel like the more the better. Okay? And yun yung nagiging sakit. And then eventually nagiging downfall. I believe, naniniwala ako sa system pa rin ng Philippines na mahuli nila kung sino yung greedy people and I want them na maparusahan din. Pero this is an application of a lesson that you can learn in psychology of money. Na greed will cause downfall to a lot of people. So you should learn how to define what is enough. So for example, kung ang enough sa'yo is kumita ng 100,000 per month, i-goal mo yon for a period of time. Ngayon, tingnan mo kung bakit 100,000 per month ang gusto mong goal. Kailangan tinanong mo yun sa sarili mo. So that when you reach it, at gusto mong i-level up kung ano yung enough sa'yo, bilangin mo yung pros and cons. Kung iangat mo pa siya. At pag inangat mo siya, yun yung magiging next goal mo. Basta merong patutunguhan lahat. Hindi lang laging gusto ng gusto. You have to weigh also the cons of that decision. Kasi baka mamaya, okay, sige. Ngayon, from here onwards, gusto ko 500,000, 500,000 per month na ako. Pero that 500,000 per month, ibig sabihin yan, mas ganito yung gagawin mong trabaho, mas mabigat. Gusto mo ba yun? May mga masasacrifice ba yun? So, yun yung importance na kada may na-hit kang goal, meron ka dapat self-reflection. Okay, number 4. Boring but works. Yung compounding interest. Okay, so I think na-discuss ko to sa mga TikTok videos ko. Pero, ang compounding interest, talagang naniniwala ako na 8th wonder of the world talaga siya, according to Einstein. Na, totoo na, pag sinabi na 8th wonder of the world, kasi, yung concept niya is like a snowball. Na, kung sakaling mag-invest ka, magkakaroon ng interest yung pera mo, tapos yung principal plus the interest, yun yung next na mag-gain ng interest. So, lumalaki siya, lumalaki. Kaya siya kinumpare sa snowball. Kasi di ba, pag gumawa ka ng snowball, tapos binato mo siya, nag-accumulate siya ng ilang snow sa unang roll niya. Yung next na roll niya, kasama ng interest. So, mas lalaki siya. Hanggang sa pinabayaan mo yun, tuloy-tuloy siyang magro-roll habang lumalaki na hindi mo na namamalayan to the point na mas malaki na lahat yung interest, mas malaki na lahat yung mga na-accumulate na snow kumpara sa original mong nilagay. As long as you continue kung ano yung ginagawa mong investing. Okay, basta ang point is, ang compounding interest is successful kung nasa discipline ka talaga ng paglalagay ng pera consistently. Hindi mo namamalayan na the moment na pumasok or the moment na mag-accumulate ng interest ang principal mong nilagay at tuloy-tuloy mo siyang dinadagdagan, yung power niya to accumulate more becomes higher. Okay? Sa compounding interest also, doon natin natututunan yung patience. Kasi maraming mga tao ang hindi kaya maging patient, lalo na pagdating sa pera. Kaya ang best advice, whenever makikipag-usap ako sa tao, tapos pinapaliwanag ko yung compounding interest, is matuto siyang mag-budget and mag-set aside ng pera na palalaguin niya through compounding interest. Believe in the concept because it was proven time and time again that if you remain consistent and patient to one investment, it will grow. Okay, next. Getting wealthy and staying wealthy are different things and requires different skills. Ganito yan. If gusto mong parang sa pagbubuhat, iba yung effort na ini-exert mo when you are just learning an exercise in comparison sa you're just leveling it up or mini-maintain mo yung sarili mo. Sa pagda-diet, ganun din. Mahirap siya sa simula, tapos pag mini-maintain mo nila yung sarili mo, mas madali na, tapos iba na rin yung strategy mo. So, if you wonder, why is it na parang mas mahirap yung pag-achieve ng something sa pag-maintain ng something? It's because different skill set yun. Ganun din sa pera. When you build something, mahirap siya. At iba yung strategy. Pwedeng ang strategy niyan is maging patient ka, kagaya na sa compounding interest kanina. All you need to do is to remain consistent and maging patient ka for a long period of time. Merong mga strategy in accumulating wealth na to be aggressive sa risk-taking sa mga investment. So, find the best investment and then you put your money, hope that it will grow. There are others na mauna ka dapat sa market. Malaman mo yung trend, sabayan mo yung trend na yun para makuha mo yung wealth na gusto mo. So, those are the strategies that you need to consider when you want to accumulate wealth or you to build it. Pero pag maintenance ka na, you have to be lower pagdating sa risk-taking. So, it's not important anymore for you to gain a lot. But you are more in the preservation of wealth. Nandun ka na sa less volatile, dapat na pera or na investment. That's why you should look on the things na hindi masyadong gagalaw kung ano na yung naipon mo. If you don't identify or don't change your strategy, if you don't change your strategy, simula nagbe-build wealth ka, hanggang doon sa nagme-maintain ka ng wealth na dapat, ang mangyayari is, your investment will remain risky. Kahit na dapat, inaalagaan mo yun. Pagpalagay natin sa gambling, sa sugal, kung sobrang agresibo mo na tumataya nung simula, mas marami na yung pera mo. Kung ikaw ay aggressive pa rin, itataya mo lahat yun. Kasi naniniwala ka na pwedeng malaki pa yung balik, pero pwedeng mawala sila lahat. Kaya yung dalawang point na yon, alamin mo sa buhay mo kung kailan nangyayari yun. Kasi magkaiba dapat yung strategy at skill set na kailanganin mo para ma-achieve yung objective mo. Next, one win can last a lifetime. Okay. Not everything you do works. And let's face it, marami kang bagay na trinay na in life. Pero, sa tingin mo ba, nagkamali ka? It's not always like that. Because there are some things na tinatawag natin na tails event. Pag sinabi natin tails event, alam mo yung pag nag-flip ka ng coin, di ba heads and tails yun? Pwedeng paulit-ulit mong ginagawa yun, tapos heads yung lumalabas. But if you don't give up, your tails event will happen. Sa kahit anong ginagawa mong endeavor, for example, sa amin, sa insurance, sobrang dami sa amin na umaalis na kagad because hindi nila nakukuha yung gusto nilang makuha sa trabaho. I cannot blame them kasi talagang may impact yung emotion talaga eh. Pag kunyari, a lot of rejections na nangyayari sa amin. But if you stayed long enough sa game and you keep on trying, something might change and tails event can happen. And that tail event of yours can last a lifetime. Pwedeng ganun yung mangyari. Makaklose ako ng sobrang laking deal. Like, isang pamilya yung nakilala ko. And these family members need insurances. Ang mag-aalaga ng insurance nila for life. That could change yung buhay ko ngayon. So, pagpalagay natin na nagkaroon ka ng, kunyari sa dating, ilang beses kang nagjojowa. At darating yung time na darating isang tao that will change everything. At masasabi mo na siya na yung gusto mong maging ending. Diba? So, hindi naman, maraming tao na after several tries, gumigive up na. Pero you will be the one to determine kung gi-give up ka na or hindi. Because maniwala ka, things are gonna happen. So, yung mga events na yun in life could change everything and will give you massive luck. Okay? Next, room for error. Okay, sige. Isama ko na siguro yung sa room for error, that's a follow script, so the plan. Okay, yung room for error, I think, madali siyang i-explain sa yung parang pagkakaroon ng plan B. Even you plan everything, even you set up everything in accordance to a very great plan, pwedeng magkaroon pa rin siya ng error. Mababa man yan or mataas, we cannot predict. The best way is to come up with a plan na yung error expected na. So, having plan B is great. But the concept teaches us na hindi talaga lahat ng pinaplano natin will go according to plan. So, alam naman ng lahat yan eh. So, parang gusto niya lang is for you to have a smarter plan, pati yung error, isama mo na. Okay? Next, you'll change. What you believe before, pwedeng hindi na siya working. Ito, medyo madali yung concept eh. Pero hindi lahat ng tao madaling maintindihan. I mean, i-apply talaga in real life. If ever you experience na yung mga friends mo before, tapos nag-meet kayo ulit, tapos ngayon sinasabi nila sa'yo na nagbago ka na, whether it's for the better or for the worse. But there are some people who cannot accept na nagbago ka na. And the reason kung ba't hindi nila ma-accept yun, it's because nandun sila sa idea kung sino yung old you. At hindi lang ito nag-a-apply sa ibang tao, pwedeng sa sarili mo rin. Nag-a-apply yan sa'yo. Naniniwala ka kung sino ka before at dapat ikaw to ngayon. Hindi ibig sabihin na nagbago ka at nagbago yung pinaniniwalaan mo is wala ka ng prinsipyo. May mga bagay talaga at experiences in life na magpapabago ng paniniwala mo sa isang bagay. Do you wonder why people change religions? Do you wonder why your former classmate nung high school became a personality now na hindi mo in-expect ever? Or your closest friend na kasabay mo sa lahat ng kalokohan ng kabataan suddenly become a better person than you. So, pwedeng the other way around. Alam mo mabait yung tao na yun. Somehow, iba na yung pininiwalaan niya. Lahat ng yung mindset niya nag-shift talaga. It's because people change. You just need to accept it. Kaya, for me lang naman there are some people na parang hindi naman ako na-offend, but rather, ano man tingin ko, kinda nabababawan na if ang lagi nilang argument is about kung ano yung past kong nasabi or ano yung past na paano nila makilala. So if you're going to apply it to yourself, ask yourself, ano ba yung mga sinasabi mo sa sarili mo na dating ikaw? Kaya gusto mo magbago. Talaga ako gumigising ng umaga. Yun yung story na sinasabi mo sa sarili mo. So ang mangyayari, mahirapan ka talaga na baguhin yan. Pero if you believe in the concept that everyone changes, you could change it. You can take course of action para mabago. So yun yung natutunan ko sa lesson na yun. Next, nothing is free. Sa nothing is free na chapter, pinapaliwanag niya na everything has a price. For those of you who wanted to be successful, ako, I wanted to be successful. In my own terms, merong kapalit yun. gusto ko maging mayaman, may kapalit yun. Now, hindi siya parang exchange yung concept. Parang sinasabi niya na, kunyari gusto maging successful sa trabaho, yumaman. Yung late nights, yung plenty of arguments with your coworkers, yung pagiging alone mo in your journey, lahat yan ay kaakibat ng success na gusto mo. Yun yung parang price to pay. Pero ang sinasabi ni Morgan Housel sa book niya, instead na isipin mo yun na parang kapalit yan ng lahat. Isipin mo yun like a toll fee. Alam mo yung pag nag-drive ka, pumasok ka sa toll para, kunyari sa Skyway. Pag nag-drive ka sa Skyway, mas mabilis, kaya dyan, meron ka ma-achieve. But you paid price for it. Diba? The cost of the toll. So, lahat ng mga paghihirap na nararamdaman mo, it's like a toll fee because papasok ka sa isang buhay na mas maganda. Parang toll gate, papasok ka sa isang road na mas mabilis at mas maganda. So, i-level mo rin yung desire mo. Ask yourself, gusto ko ba talagang yumaman ng gusto? Ganyan, etc. Kaya very important yung self-reflection palagi eh. Lalo na sa goals natin yung money because if you are going to ask plenty of people, they wanted to get rich din naman. Diba? Not ultra rich, pero somehow may level of rich na gusto nilang ma-attain. But remember that level of rich, the moment na pinangarap mo siya, alamin mo yung, ano ba yung kaakibat at kapalit nun? Diba? It's good if you have a manager that could let you see that. But self-reflection will do. Hindi ka po pwedeng yumaman tapos nakahilata ka lang. Laging may price to pay tayo. Okay? Kaya ang sinabi natin is free. Next, you and me, we are all playing different financial games. Okay. Ito pagdating sa pera to, di ba? Madalas kasi sa social media, mayroong comparison. Pero, hindi na to yung similar kayo ng lahat ng ginagawa. In life, magkakaiba na kasi tayo. Magkakaiba tayo ng priority. Why some people, they are putting their own goals sa iba. Like for example, ano ba yan? Wala pa siyang bahay. Ano ba yan? Wala pa siyang pamilya. Ano ba yan? Bakit ganyan siya? Why are you putting goals to others kung hindi naman yun yung pinagdaanan nila? Hindi naman nila explicitly din sinabi sa'yo na ito yung gusto nila. Hindi naman sila nanghingi ng advice sa'yo. Diba? And other people tend to judge kung ano yung buhay ng ibang tao. Diba? Now, ask yourself, ganun din ba ako? Kung baga ako, tinawag sa sarili ko, yeah, somehow. Parang sometimes, ganun ako. Pero, yun yung natutunan ko rito. Magkakaiba tayong financial gains. Sa pag-practice ko ng trabaho, napatunayan ko yan eh. Marami akong tao na nakilala na iba-iba talaga sila ng goal. Yung iba makabayad lang ng utang. Yung iba gusto talaga yumaman. Yung iba gusto nila yumaman to the point na lahat ng investment nila, kung ano lang yung kinita, kunyari interest nun, yun dapat enough na para mabuhay sila. Ganong yamang level para wala na silang gagawin. Pero may iba naman na, hindi gusto ko yung tuloy-tuloy, stable yung ginagawa ko habang kumikita. Diba? Merong mga iba na, hindi, gusto ko lang ma-support yung family ko. Gusto ko lang makapag-travel abroad. Magkakaiba talaga sila ng goal eh. So, magkakaiba sila ng plan na binibigay ko. Kasi depende sa goal nila eh. So, in life naman, magkakaiba rin tayo ng goal. Pwedeng parehas kayo ng goal, magkaiba naman kayo ng circumstances. Like, parehas yung gusto niyo maman, pero yung isa, nabutis kasi siya maaga eh, may pamilya siya. Or tumutulong kasi siya sa magulang eh. So, magkaiba yung kinahinatnan nyo. Okay? So, yung gain niya, yung difficulty is greater kumpara sa'yo. Parang ganon. Pero, titignan lang natin to at bird's eye view. Because, yung story niya, different din. May kakaibang difficulties din siya kinaharap. So, this person, cannot judge this person. At hindi ko rin sila pwedeng i-judge kung tinitignan ko lang sila. The best way to approach this is whenever you talk to a person, listen to that person. And, i-validate mo lahat ng struggles niya. Tapos, gamitan mo ng SWOT kung ano yung strengths niya, weaknesses niya, yung i-consider mo, and give a different advice sa kanya. Hindi siya one size fits all. So, magkakaiba tayo ng nilalaro. So, from here onwards, yun yung isang bagay na pwede mong i-apply sa sarili mo if you're going to talk to other people. Look kung ano yung, dahil hindi mo makikita sa facade kung ano yung pinagdadaanan nila, the best is not to judge. Next is, why people focus on bad news. Ito pagdating sa pera, totoo to. Yung pessimism kasi it might seem cool and intelligent. Like for example, may balita tapos bad news yan. O kaya stock market, bumagsak mga ganyan. Kaya mas mabilis mag-spread yun. Para if you are wise, if you are going to withdraw your money in this investment kasi hindi to totoo. So mga ganyang bagay. Yun yung mga mabenta eh. Okay, but here's one thing I learned sa investing. Yung optimism Siya yung trend. Pagdating sa pera, sa investing, kahit ilang market crash yung mangyari, nagkakaroon ng parang self-correction yung market. So we call it market correction. Na bawat crashes ng ekonomiya, nagre-recover at nagre-recover. Why? Kasi 'di ba, kahit nga sa tao eh, pag bumagsak ka, hindi ka naman nagre-remain na bagsak eh. Ginagawa mo yung best mo para makabangon. Ganun din yung economy. Hindi hahayaan ng bawat bansa na any disaster ay maging downfall na talaga nila. Eventually, magsastabilize pa rin lahat. So, kung ikaw ay ang investor at nagkaroon ng bad news market crash, kunyari noong 2008 o kaya nung pandemic, 'di ba? Bumagsak naman talaga ng todo yung market eh. Patignan nyo, naka-recover naman tayo. At kahit ano pa mangyari, magre-recover, yung upward trend yan. So you have to be optimistic. Parang pag long term ang pinag-uusapan sa investing, optimism win. Kasi kung naka-focus ka more on bad news, tatanggalin mo lahat yung opportunity ng growth ng pera mo just because apektado ka masyado. Kaya you have to be logical pagdating sa pera. Again, inuulit ko, optimism and growth is the trend pagdating sa economy. So if you are there for the long run, for the long term, staying in the game for a long time, it's good not to listen to bad news. Huwag kayo masyadong maratal palagi. Okay? Next. I think this is the last one. Will you believe everything? Remember, kagaya ng first lesson, very important ang stories na sinasabi mo sa sarili mo. Kung sinabi mo sa sarili mo na hindi ka magaling, you will believe that. If may isang friend na nagsasabi sa'yo na this is like the best investment kasi yumaman ako dito, you can easily believe that. So, plenty of stories might impact you. That's the reason why the content is being framed as a story. Kasi kung nag-aaral ka ng marketing, the best way to touch people is to tell a story that they could relate. Tapos, yan yung reason kung bakit ang testimonials are very important pagdating sa pag-market mo ng negosyo because those stories parang will give a feedback na, legit talaga to. But stories can be manipulated. Diba? So, if you think it that way, you just need to be careful kung sinong story yung paniniwalaan mo. Even this video, nagkikwento ko na maraming bagay. You have the option not to believe it. But you have option to believe it. So, the strategy there is whenever you talk to a person, lalo na pag important, parang decision making yung gravity ng conversation mo. Hanapin mo sa conversation niya yung kwento at yung logical. And do the best that you can na gumawa ng decision based on the logical things na sinabi niya. Yung mag-make sense sa'yo. Because the stories that you're telling yourself will become who you are. Okay. Siguro, i-wrap up ko lang tong book na to para sabihin sa lahat na yung Psychology of Money, they wanted you to realize na complex matter ang pera. And the simplest way to approach it is to become genuine sa values mo. Now, information is available kahit saan. Kung isang bagay hindi mo pa naiintindihan, pakinggan mo mabuti. Kung ikaw ay binibentahan, pakinggan mo kung alin yung pambubudol. But you can do a lot of research now. You can ask expert. And if you think nagre-resonate sa'yo yung value ng product, gusto mo siya, naging aligned bali yung mind mo, intellect, yung capacity mo, yung wallet mo bali, at saka yung emotional mo, that's the time na it's right for you. But if not, look for other ways pa. So, thank you for listening to Psychology of Money. That's my own interpretation of it, and I hope kahit pa paano nagbigay yun ng insight sa inyo. So, I'll be seeing you sa next video na kagaya nito for a different set of books or knowledge naman. Again, thank you for listening.